Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Eileen. We are on our way. I'm losing count, but I believe this is episode 8. Tonight we have with us another amazing volunteer in our community, Dave Schwarz. He's going to talk to us about the SMAA Flag Football of East Meadow. So let's go ahead and bring him on and welcome Dave. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Looking forward to it very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we have mutual friends, Dave Hutzik. And, you know, one of the things that Dave and I talked a lot about was the volunteering and, you know, the people that aren't always recognized. And not that you're doing this to be recognized, but I do feel that it's an opportunity to highlight the positive in our community. So with that, I'd like for you to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yep. So my name is Dave Schwarz, and I've been involved in this community for over 15 years with the volunteering of sports. My oldest son, Dylan, is now 26 years old. So from around the time he was like 4 years old, I started volunteering with the East Meadow baseball. Started out in T-ball. And then when he got into fourth grade, I started with the St. Raphael's CYO, which that program has completely blossomed so much from that point in time.
Amazing.
And then the flag football, when he was in second grade, again, he's 26 years old now. Do the math, it's a long time. I went down to, at the time, it was a Spino Park Fieldhouse, and signed up, and I had a passion for it because I was currently playing in a men's league at the time. That was a couple of knee surgeries ago, but at the time I was playing in a Long Island Flag Football League, and just had a desire to not only compete but to share knowledge. And it gets to the point when you get a little older that you get more enjoyment out of watching your kid do something than doing it yourself.
Sure.
It got to the point where me making a nice play on a Sunday was great, but it wasn't as great as one of my sons scoring a touchdown in the flag football league. I sort of take more enjoyment out of that. And it also comes with not just my own kid, but with other kids. When you, and I'm sure we'll get into it later, but when you see things come together, like Hannibal said in the A-Team, I love it when a plan comes together.
Right.
When you work in practice and you try to show them things, and a kid who couldn't catch that good in the beginning of the season catches the ball and goes down the sideline, and he went down the sideline because you told him to use the sideline because that's usually the score is to break for the sideline and go, and it just makes you feel so good inside. So I eventually, after my first couple of years, the first year or two, I just coached, and I actually learned. I remember the first year I did it. The second year I did it, I should say, it was third and fourth grade division. And I just picked all my son's friends, all third graders. And you learn right away that when you're in those double age divisions, you better get at least a couple of the older kids. You could have some of the best third graders or the best fifth graders or seventh grade. But if you don't get it, just a couple, even for the size wise, the kids mature at different increments. But, you get a high level fourth grader versus a high level third grader. The high level fourth grader is probably going to come out on top. And I remember I drafted all third graders. I didn't know much better. Got all the kids I wanted, and half the neighborhood kids and some other kids I knew from other sports. And I think we ended up going like 500. And at the end of the season, a coach from the other side of town, the Clark side, very nice gentleman, he beat me in the playoffs, and he says to me, "Dave, I got to get with you." He goes, "You drafted all third graders." He goes, "No one does that." He goes, "And you finished 500." He goes, "It's a minor miracle in itself." He goes, "And you were competitive. Even in the playoffs, you were competitive." He goes, "I tip my hat to you." So anyway, that's how after that, the next year I got into being like a director running a division. And then now I essentially, I'm running the league. Although I can't do it by myself. We have a board. You come to realize that you need more people to bounce opinions off of, to make decisions.
Absolutely.
Yep. And a couple of the board, one of them who actually stepped away a few years ago was Alex Clark, who was our CYO predecessor before Dave Hutzik. And he donated probably 8 or 9 years to our board as well.
Wow.
But I've always said we're more of a mom and pop operation. We're not nearly as big of a board or big of an operation as baseball or CYO. I mean, it's basically usually been between 7 or 8 of us, and we make magic happen. And we're such a small operation that we had to actually, for the last 10 years in a row, we had a volunteer mom, Kim Livermore. She just moved to Canada. Her son was out of the league for a long time because he's 27 now, and she just volunteered every year for nothing, just to help the community. And we had a PO box at the Hicksville post office, and she would literally go down there like every 3 or 4 days, from June or July all the way through when we start the season. And she'd take me and her would alternate, but more so her, take the mail out, and literally on her computer, take all the information off the application: name, address, mom's cell phone, dad's cell phone, uniform size, email, you name it, 20 different components.
She did it. She did it
by herself. And she would even save the envelopes from every piece of mail in case someone sent it in late and said, no, I mailed it in on time. And nope, here's the postmark right here. So she was phenomenal.
Listen, I love a woman that pays attention to detail, because I'm that person too. I want to just step back, because you mentioned something that I think is really important. You talked about East Meadow, and then you talked about the Clark side.
Yes.
But what's very interesting about your program is you represent all of East Meadow, and I am a big proponent of we are one East Meadow. And when you and I originally contacted each other and spoke, that was something that really drew me in, because that creates a sense of unity, and I think that that's really important. So just tell everyone that children from all over East Meadow, I'll let you finish that.
Well, as great as I love St. Raphael CYO and I love East Meadow baseball, okay, I have a lot of friends, thankfully, from flag football on the other side of town that play for St. Bridget's, or they play baseball for Central Nassau. And sometimes, there's been times where there's been issues. No, he's a great guy. I know him from flag. And I always felt that the one of the things that drew me into this league, besides my love for the sport, was also the sense of community for all the community.
Exactly.
And I've met so many people from the other side of town, so to speak. One of which is one of my directors, Ed Peters, just retired as a New York City fireman. He donates his time every year. He's going to head up my referees at Bowling Green this year, and Kirk Castro, among others, Dave Fowler, Ken Barshauskas. I'm glad that my board is pretty much 50% from each side of town, because we get a more of a wide array of opinions, But this league draws both sides of town. I love it. And what you'll find is when people pick teams often, especially even when they're younger, by elementary school, you'll see they'll try to get, they want to get their son's friend. They want to get, you'll see if I'm going in to pick teams in a draft, let's say in 3rd and 4th grade, that usually the guys from that side of town, from the Clark side, are going to try to grab the kids from Bowling Green and Meadowbrook. It's just they, you want to try to get your son's friends.
Right.
And we're doing the same thing. And I try to get, I was usually trying to get some McVeigh kids. And if you had a coach from Barnum, he's trying to get the Barnum kids, But as they get older and they mix teams more, because we always say it, sometimes you have a parent say, "Oh, my son doesn't know anyone on the team. There's no one else from Meadowbrook." And I say, "Well, he'll make new friends."
Right.
And as they get older, you'll find they intermingle more and they get to know each other. My son was playing high school lacrosse a couple of years ago, my son Dominic, and the kids, we played against Clark, and it was really cool. There was kids I knew from flag football on there, and you strike up relationships. There was a kid, Artin Delippi, a couple of years ago, phenomenal athlete in our league, and I loved watching him play, even when he's scoring touchdowns over my team. And I would go to Clark when he was a senior, and I caught one of his games. I'm sitting with his dad on the sideline, because we're all one community,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because there should be no division. When we work together, we can do amazing things. And you've taken on this. It's an undertaking. It's a task. It's time consuming. I'm sure that there are days that you get home and you think, I'm just tired, I want to put my feet up, but you don't. What you do is you get to work because you know you have a deadline, which is one of the things we're going to talk about because you've got registration deadline coming up.
Right. We're cutting it at September 11th. It doesn't mean that no one can come in after, but at a certain point you have to stop. You got to figure out the number of teams, which means the number of coaches. And I will tell you, when I came into the league, we would average, apparently when it started, the numbers were really high. But I mean, when I came in 15 years ago, we were averaging like 240, 250, 265 in there. And then slowly it went up and up. And then we hit 3 years ago, COVID. 3 years ago, we hit 325. And the year before COVID, so 2 years ago, we hit like 345, which was an all-time, at least in the last 15 years.
Wow.
So the numbers were building. And then this year, I will tell you, I was looking at the numbers because I knew I was going to do this with you today. And we topped 250 today.
Excellent.
And I will tell you, for many, many years, and we're pumping this registration, thankfully, through Facebook and Facebook page, the mom's page, and Todd Weinstein's Nice Things Happen page, and the Salisbury page. But I mean, the numbers are looking good. But for years, we would literally advertise, give out flyers in the last week of school the year before. And out of, let's say, 300 kids, we would only get maybe 100 to register before school starts.
Wow.
And you can imagine poor Kim trying to get in 200 applications in 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the season.
The poor woman didn't sleep.
No, she was amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Now we do an early registration discount. You get $20 off if you do it early, which ended September 1st.
Okay.
But like I said, for us to have 250 kids today on September 2nd, when school is just beginning to get up and running, it's great because I'm sure we're going to get more. But again, at a certain point on the 11th, I got to stop it. We got to check the numbers because the numbers dictate the amount of coaches. And we try to keep the team. 9 is the perfect number. You play 6 at a time. You do 3 groups. A and B are on the field. Group C is out. You do 3 groups of 3. It rolls.
Okay.
We do 10 maximum per team. Why do we do that? Because do the numbers. If you have 10 kids on a team, 6 play on the field, everybody's playing roughly 60% of the game. Over 50, put it that way. And you don't sign your kid up for any sport. None of us like to go to any sport our kid's playing on, even if it's high level travel, and you just don't want to see your kids sitting on the bench not playing.
Sure.
So
now just remind us, what is the age bracket for your program?
So we are, unlike other programs, we are K through 12, but our age bracket divisions, K through 2, and usually we don't get that many kindergartners. If somebody calls and asks, I say, look, your kindergartner better than me. If you think they're ready, usually if they have older brothers or they're active, put them in it. If they're going to pick Daisy, then it's not for you. Wait till next year. And I will tell you, out of my 3 older boys, I put 2 of them in early. One of them I didn't put in as a kindergartner, and my 8-year-old now I put him in as a kindergartner. So, so we do K through 2. We do 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, 7th and 8th, and high school division. The high school division is the only division. I will tell you our numbers this year, the Pee Wee division.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going to have 8 teams, which is a record. I've never had more than 7, right? 3rd and 4th grade is at the moment looks like 8 teams, which is tied for the most.
Okay.
5th and 6th grade, we've had as much as 10 teams. The normal is 8. As of now, we have 7, which is, again, it's a little early.
You have room. And then how would someone from this podcast, how would they get information to register?
Well,
where can we direct them?
We have our Facebook page. We used to have Yahoo groups, but Yahoo did away with Yahoo groups. Yahoo groups was a tool where you just sent an email out and it went to all the people on the group. But the Facebook page has been working great. And our Facebook page, I can share it with the other groups, the moms group, Salisbury group. But
so just say the Facebook.
Yep. It's our first name, Wink. Our first name is SMAA Flag, and our last name is Football-East Meadow.
Perfect. So everyone's got that. SMAA
Flag
Football East Meadow.
Right. So the first name is SMAA Flag, and our last name is Football-East Meadow.
Gotcha. So they'll be able to put it in the search engine and be able to find you. Now, something else that we had talked about earlier, which I found really endearing, and as a mom, my son's 24, so they get older, and it's nice to see them to give back. You said that you have some of the older students. They come back and they referee. Is that right?
Yeah, we have a couple things going right now.
Okay.
That I think kind of make us unique, and they may have happened because we have a couple of really great kids that love the league so much they wanted to give back, and also out of necessity. So what we have is, first, our referees. We keep costs down. If you look, our cost for one kid is $95. It's under $100, and
Okay.
we offer multi-kid discounts. And I'm not talking like when I went to SeaWorld last week, where the first ticket's $100, the second one's $95 if you have for a child. Like,
Right.
we offer a significant multi-kid discount. I think it's
Okay.
like 20 off on the second kid and like another 30 off on the third. But we keep costs down because our referees are our kids. Now, you didn't have to play in the
I
league
love
to
that.
be a referee, but it helps. But you don't have to. Like, currently, I was talking to one of the kids on the lacrosse team that played, and he was going to throw it out to one of his teammates to see if he wanted to ref. But so our refs are our kids. Now, what we do is, if you have to be at least in 11th grade to ref. So what we do is, if you're playing in the senior division, the high school division, we obviously aren't going to have you ref in that division because conflict of interest. But you can ref the 7th and 8th grade or down.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
If we have younger refs that are in 11th grade, let's say, we'll probably give them the Pee Wee division, or nothing higher than the 3rd and 4th, because they're younger. We
Gotcha.
also try to pair more seasoned refs with younger, newer refs, because when you ref the game, the ref that's controlling the line of scrimmage, which is counting the Mississippis till the quarterback has to throw the ball, that's the more important job. There's more moving parts to that, whereas the other ref in the secondary, who's playing deep, you're looking for someone stepping out of bounds, or maybe a flag guard, or a pass interference. It's not as involved.
Yeah.
So we have that. Secondly, we just started last year, thanks to one of our directors, Rich Ferdinand, his son Tim, who East Meadow graduate, played a couple sports. He wanted to head up a league for the kids who graduated the program, like an alumni league.
Awesome.
So now that started last season, and he had like 60 kids or so playing. They all met. They picked teams. They got different colored shirts. We kept costs down, and they seemed to have a blast. And these are our kids from our community.
Yes.
That you're either home from college or you're out of college, and you come back and you say, because I've had plenty of kids that played sports for me. They come back and they say, this was great, that was great, but flag football was my favorite, and I miss that. So now we've put that together where you can still play, and it's not a big league. It's our community. We're playing in our town.
Right.
And it's a little more laid back. And the main thing is, just like when they're in the high school division, everyone wants to win, but no one wants to get hurt to the point they're missing work or missing school.
Sure.
So they kind of, 95% of the time, they kind of know, to lay back a little bit, because no one's trying to hurt anybody out there.
Right. And one other important thing that you and I talked about, which we both agreed upon, is when you have a kid doing an activity, that means that they're doing something, and that means that that's keeping them out of trouble. They have something to do. Oh, hi. How are you? Are you going to join us?
Hey, are you excited for flag football this season?
Hi.
All right.
Well, wait a minute. Come back. Tell them to come back.
You can come back. Yes. Here. Go ahead.
I need one.
Just say hello. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
Braden.
Braden.
And how old are you, Braden?
8.
And how much do you love flag football? Like 1 million? That much?
That's a 10 out of 10.
No, that's a 9.
9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Hey, that's a good number. Well, you know what? You were our surprise guest, so thank you so much. I'm glad you popped on. It was nice to meet you. So you know what? Having these activities as parents, you and I both know when they're doing something that they like, when they're doing something constructive, when they're doing something as a team, when they're doing something I don't care if it's Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, a sports, something, music, theater. I don't care. When they're doing an activity, that means that they're not getting in trouble.
Right.
And the more programs that are offered for our kids, the better our community is. And I mean, I think it's just amazing. Please don't underestimate that. I did not hear 15 years. You said you are a volunteer in this program.
And this is for our town, because in order for us to get the permits from East Meadow, which I want to thank them. Thank you, East Meadow School District. They graciously give us. You have to have 95% East Meadow residents, because otherwise you're not getting the fields. It's for our kids. So we do take out of towners on occasion, someone who's a relative of somebody or somebody who knows somebody. We had a gentleman come into the league 2 years ago. Nice guy. I guess the wife worked in a building in East Meadow, and someone who worked in that office building said, no, it's a great league. And he was playing in a league in Queens where nobody was really friendly with anybody. And if you're losing by 3 touchdowns, they were pouring it on. And he's yeah. So he came here, and after like the first week, he's stayed. This is great. So he's an out of towner. He's from Uniondale, and I was so happy he came. And I will also tell you, when it comes to fair play, because I have that in my head now, one of the things we have in the league is we have what we call the 18-point rule, because no one enjoys losing 30-0. And to be honest, winning is great, but no one winning 30-0 isn't great either.
Right.
Not if you have compassion. And we have what's called the 18-point rule, whereas if you're up 18 points or more, there's no more a first down every 20 yards. There's only one first down is at midfield. So you got to go like 40 yards to get a first down.
Okay.
It's designed. And then if the team that's losing cuts the lead below 18, then it goes back to normal. And what we actually implemented in the Pee Wee division, which I think is phenomenal, we came up with this a few years ago, is if you're up 18, not only does the first team have to go 40 yards to get a first down, but when that team that's winning is on defense, rather than having to be 2 yards back off the line of scrimmage, they have to back up 7 yards, which is so now the team that isn't moving the ball, there's a 7-yard buffer. So you get a head start. You give a handoff, the kid runs 3 steps before they even get a shot at pulling this flag. It's designed to help the team that's losing, so no one gets blown out. Because again, we're all supposed to be friends. We're all supposed to be one big family.
I love it.
You're not playing a team from a different town in travel baseball. This is meant to be, it's not the playoffs.
You know what? It's just reinforcing community. And I love your messaging. So do you do any fundraising?
We don't. We are not for profit. To be honest, usually the money, everything balances out. We end with what we started with. And to be honest, a couple years, I guess it was 2 years ago. I'm dating myself because of COVID, because we didn't play last season. We actually had some extra money, more than because a lot of people signed up late and we had all these late fees. And in a normal year, when we have extra money, I'll buy new field markers, like the 20, the 40, the 20. We're always looking to make things better.
Yeah.
And I'll buy some new equipment. But what happened was we had a couple of games that were rained out or whatever it was, or canceled. And it might have been the day of the McVeigh 5K where we lost the field that day. And I called up Cantiago Park, and we ended up making up a couple games on 2 Wednesday nights there. And it's not cheap to rent Cantiago Park, especially at night when the lights are on.
Sure.
But we did, and we put the money back into the kids, and that's what we're there to do.
That's amazing.
Every kid gets a T-shirt. The Pee Wee division get a T-shirt and a little trophy or a medal or something to take home. But as far as a participation trophy, we don't do that. Only in the Pee Wees. Like I said, I'd rather give everybody a T-shirt that they can wear to school. And whatever team wins the championship, they get a championship T-shirt. That's a little different from the other one that usually has a trophy on the back, so they can rock that and walk down the hallways at school that they're there.
I like it.
And we'll make it a nice bright color.
So what can the community do to help promote this program? What can the community do?
Honestly, our goal as a league
Okay.
is just to have everybody that wants to play play and know about it. So I don't want someone to say, oh, I don't have Facebook, or I don't have this, or I don't have that.
Right.
So like a lot of times when we post, I'm saying, we put it on all these groups and we tell everybody, please spread the word, because I'm hoping someone like yourself, let's say you're at a board meeting or a PTA meeting, or you're at work or wherever you are, and this goes for everybody, and you're talking to someone, oh, I signed up myself. Oh, you know what? That sounds good. How do I do that? And
Yes.
just pass the word along, because I'm not doing the flyers in the schools anymore. It's like I said,
Not cost effective,
no,
and that's not the way to get the word out. And
No.
and I can tell you, I know very little about football, but I will tell you, I bet we get more dads watching this podcast and saying, let's go, let's do this, and we're going to get you a lot of attention, and we're going to put the word out for you, and we're going to get your numbers high, and you're going to have a great season, and you're going to at the end of the season, you're going to come back and you're going to tell me how awesome it was. And I can feel your enthusiasm coming through the screen, and that's infectious. And that's one of the reasons why I started this was, we want to highlight the positive things in our community,
Yep.
the people that do outstanding things, the people that give of themselves. You mentioned Todd Weinstein. He does
Love him.
so many things. And, as I've said in every podcast, individuals may not know how to take the first step. Well,
Right.
I want to get involved, but I don't know how to get involved. And so my suggestion is, if this is something that interests you as a mom or a dad, to reach out to you and say, listen, how can I help? Can I bring refreshments? Can I be the cookie mom? Can I do this? Can I pick something up? Can I take one load off your shoulder so that you can focus on the things that you need to focus on?
Well, if I can, it seems like we always have a little bit of a harder time than some of the other sports, specifically baseball, to get coaches. I think a couple reasons. A, football is, direct TV's on, the NFL Sunday ticket, people want to watch. You have people that have Giant season tickets, Jets season tickets. Some people do the baseball and they extend their season into the fall. So it seems a little harder to get coaches. I mean, it seems like every year I'm clamoring, but I will tell you, one of the things that we've done out of necessity, and it was actually came from the kids, is that I have a couple of young men that graduated the program, Tim Ferdinand, Tyler Ferdinand, and Cole Castro, sons of two of our directors, and they volunteered to coach. So if I have a division that needs coaches, what I've done the last couple of years, I've given each of them a team, and they volunteer to coach. And sometimes the kids love it, because you get this young 24-year-old guy, and don't get me wrong, they'll get a dad parent or a mom parent to be the assistant coach. But these guys are giving back. They love the game, and some of them play in men's leagues, but they want to, our men's league, I should say, and they want to give back, and they'll coach a team. So like when I look at the numbers this year and I look at the division, says, oh, I need a guy in 5th and 6th and 1 and 7th and 8th and 1 3rd and 4th. I'll ask them, all right, which one of you guys wants to do which, and they'll do it.
Right.
And to be honest, these guys may end up being directors down the road as guys start to step away, because they love it, and they had a great
point, right?
They had a great experience here, and they want to share. They want to share what they had here, whether it's winning, that feeling, or just feeling of playing or being on a team. Because we always tell people, you don't have to be a high level athlete to play in. This league is not meant for the school athlete. It's meant for everybody. Everybody to learn how to run, throw, and catch. And guess what? You may not be the fastest kid, but guess what? You run 5 yards, turn around, run a button hook, and we're going to throw the ball right here. It's for everybody.
I want to tell you, Dave, I think when we get to some parents that see this, I think you're going to get more help than maybe you needed.
Well, I'm going to put the word out there. My head ref is Frank Caramonte. He has 3 older boys. The youngest is actually one of the lacrosse coaches at the high school now. And he, the last couple of years, has spent every Sunday, most the entire day down there, being my head ref and just managing the field, assigning the refs. And he's a phenomenal man. He does it for the love of the community. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely going to, I'm going to be needing some guys to step up and fill shoes at next year and the year after.
You heard it. You heard it here. Come on. Step up, step up, step up.
Not just dads, moms too. Anybody's welcome to coach.
Hey, listen. I was softball coach. I was the manager. I was very involved with my son with East Meadow Baseball Association. I did that banner every year because that was my contribution.
Oh, I always was so thankful to whoever did the banner when I was doing
I
it.
love doing the banners.
Yep.
I have to tell you, through the years, we got very creative because it was that always, whoever had the best banner won the pizza. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they would always give something away. Yes.
I had to win the pizza for my team all the time. Dave, it has been great. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for spreading the word. And I want to thank you for what you do for our children and for what you do for our community. And I just want to give you the last word.
Well, I would just say it can't be done alone. It's far from done alone. And I have a board. Again, I have Kirk Castro. He's actually our league insurance agent. If someone gets hurt or whatever, we always we have to go through all the protocols. He's my right-hand man. My other right-hand man, besides Frank Caramonte, is Ed Peters. And then I have Ken Barshauskas, Dave Fowler, Joe Caracciolo, Rich Ferdinand. Now I have the two young guys helping me, the younger Ferdinand and Cole Castro. And now we've got Matt Smith this year. So it's a collaborative effort, and everybody helps, and everybody pitches in, and we make it work. And let me tell you, there's nothing better. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Okay.
To get out of my car, to walk to the field, whichever field it is, and for my game or someone else's, and just see smiles on people's faces, and have parents just say, "Hey, what's up?" Hey, it just makes you feel like all this work, in other words, the preparation, was worth it.
I can't think of a better way to end our conversation than exactly with what you just said. So thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck this season. We're going to get the word out for you. You keep in contact with me. You let me know if I can be of any help in the future.
Well, I will tell you, I've already booked Candiog Park for our Super Bowl, rain or shine, the first weekend of December. I believe it's the weekend of the 4th. Maybe I'll get you down there to do one of our honorary coin tosses before one of our championships.
You got it. It's a deal.
Dress warm.
You got it.
So the weather changes quite a bit between now and then.
All right. I'll come. Dave, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure.
All mine. Thank you.
All righty. Take care.